history is full of firsts.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Many of those firsts shaped our way of life. For 70 years, KPRC Channel 2 has been proud to be pioneers in shaping television and Houston history.
In a state the size of Texas, everyone can enjoy.
Causing the storms Thursday.
Minutes before 9 o'clock, the crew's here telling her.
This is the first time in a long they have 11. Send us some of your
Isn't it good to work for a place that has a sense of history? And indeed it is.
See, taking the president from Spring to College Station following his
If you have something you'd like Channel 2 Investigates to check out, call the tip line at 713-223-TIPS or email investigates@click2houston.com. Live from KPRC, this is Channel 2 News Midday.
Right now at midday, one person is dead after a stolen vehicle leads to a chase through a cemetery. How this all came to an end and the search for the suspects at this hour.
And coronavirus crisis. Globally, infections are approaching 90,000 as the United States deals with its second death related to the illness. Ahead, what the government is doing to combat the virus, and a doctor answers some of the most asked questions.
We are just hours away from Super Tuesday. The South Carolina primary changed the game for candidates. We'll look at the ones who called it quits and the others still fighting for your vote. Here in Texas, we head to the polls in 19 hours and 59 minutes. One person is dead and police are searching for suspects after a wild chase through a cemetery. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Andy Sirota.
And I'm Sophia Ojeda. It's a story that we have been working all morning long. The chase came to a violent end along Market Street in Lockwood. And Channel 2's Vincent Crivelli joins us live now with more. Vincent, the man who died in the chase was actually trying to stop the people who stole his truck.
A cemetery left desecrated. Tire marks lead to broken tree limbs, headstones, and car parts.
The toughest part is just seeing it, just looking at what happened.
Last night, police say 3 suspects stole a truck. The owner of father chased them down, jumped on the side of the truck to try to stop them, but ended up getting ran over and dying from his injuries.
I'm speechless, really. I'm very speechless at what has happened.
Lisa Judkins is a volunteer caretaker of the cemetery, which was built in the 1800s.
In that area over there, we have Buffalo Soldiers, we have Masons, we have slaves, ex-slaves, lies in the ruin of this cemetery.
She says 7 of the 200 graves were violated.
Our history lies in the ruins of these historical properties.
They say a page of history is worth a pound of logic, so Jenkins is assessing the damage and plans to fix it as soon as possible.
We're going to remove the debris and work very hard to get the fencing up as soon as possible.
And right now, authorities are working to track down those 3 suspects who stole the truck and killed the father. If you know anything, please contact Houston Police. For now, reporting live in the 5th Ward, Vincent Crivelli, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
All right, Vincent, thank you for the latest there. The coronavirus has had an impact in the United States on everything from travel to business and even essential items for your day-to-day life. And although the CDC says the risk of contracting the coronavirus for the general public remains low, it also warns that this is an evolving situation, and officials say they are not taking any chances. Right now, there are at least 80 cases here in the U.S. with 2 deaths, both in Washington state. The CDC now says it will allow hundreds of labs to test for the virus to more quickly identify potential patients and track transmission.
We now have 75,000 tests available out there in the United States, and over the next week that will expand radically on top of the 75,000 tests available.
There has been a surge in people buying those face masks. The Surgeon General tweeting that people should stop buying them, explaining masks are not effective for general prevention and need to be reserved for healthcare providers and those who are already sick.
More deaths from the coronavirus in Italy today and a dramatic spike in cases in France and Germany. Total deaths worldwide now topping 3,000. NBC's Bill Neely reports from Milan, Italy.
It's currently the world's most contagious virus, and it's shut down the world's most visited museum. At the Louvre in Paris, long lines but no entry. Staff afraid, tourists worried.
The virus has gone viral.
Cases have spiked in France. The health minister advising people not to kiss or shake hands when meeting, as President Macron did days ago with Italy's leader. In Italy and Germany, the infection rate nearly doubled in a day. Italy now reporting nearly 1,600 cases and 34 dead. The World Health Organization advising anyone over 60 or with underlying conditions, that's hundreds of millions globally, to avoid crowded areas.
Day by day, we see the window of opportunity closing.
In South Korea, another huge surge of infections. The entire population urged to stay home. The leader of a religious sect apologizing today. 2/3 of the country's cases are linked to his group. The capital's mayor levelling murder charges against him. The Pope has cancelled today's annual retreat. He coughed and sneezed praying in Rome Sunday. The Vatican says he has a cold, not the virus. In Israel today, voting in the country's election, with special polling stations for voters who've been quarantined. In China, the lowest number of new cases in a month, one bright spot in a bleak crisis. More than 60 countries now battling the virus. More than 60 countries, but remember, many of those countries have just 1 or 2 cases, and most of the cases are mild infections. In fact, 80% are mild, sometimes with no symptoms. So authorities worldwide are saying, don't panic, but they're also saying these are critical days in the battle against the virus. Bill Neely, NBC News, Milan.
The iconic Be Someone sign has been changed to a pretty timely message. Someone changed it to wash your hands. We're not sure who changed it or when it was done exactly, but no matter what time of the year, whether we're talking about coronavirus, cold, flu season, it's always good advice to wash your hands.
Always a good reminder. And a sign of hope on Wall Street as the markets are starting to climb once again. This is a live look at the big board right now. The turnaround ends a 7-day drought brought on by fears of a global economic downfall due to the coronavirus. U.S. stocks are coming off their worst weekly drop since the financial crisis of 2008. And coming up at 11:30, we're taking a closer look at the virus here in the U.S. Tracy Potts explains the growing number of cases, plus new cases confirmed along the East Coast, and the government's effort to keep coronavirus from spreading.
You know, most parts of the country, there's that saying that March comes in like a lion and ends like a lamb. In the Houston area, it comes in like a lamb.
I know.
Right?
Oh, but it's just
We're sitting
the
pretty here.
Just the beginning. It depends on like how long you give the window for the beginning of March. It is very quiet right now, but a different story as we get closer to Wednesday. So we have a big day on Wednesday where you need to be weather aware. Until we get to that point, it is really quiet, so enjoy it. Not a lot of sunshine, but it is nice and quiet. We have overcast skies and temperatures, despite the cloudy skies, starting to warm up. There's another live look at the cloudy skies over the Southwest Freeway from our tower camera. We're at 75 degrees. These temperatures well above average for this time of year. Typically would be pretty close to 70 degrees. We're at 72 in Katy, 71 in Galveston, and 73 degrees currently in Conroe. It's all because of that onshore push. So with our south wind, we bring in the more mild air from the Gulf and also a little more Gulf moisture. So it's going to be muggy, cloudy, and warm for the remainder of the day. Right now, our wind speed is about 10 to 15 miles per hour. And that's what we're expecting through the afternoon. We'll top off in the upper 70s, close to 80 degrees. Notice that we do have a 20% chance of a passing shower. Right now, we're completely dry, but a few stray showers possible as we go throughout your afternoon. The rain chances, they start going up tomorrow. So I'll give you the timeline and talk about our stormy Wednesday coming up. Sophia, back to you.
All right, Britta, thank you. Remember, you can track the forecast anytime you want. All you have to do is download Frank's free forecast weather app. Just search KPRC in your Apple or Android app store.
Today, testimony begins in the criminal trial of two former Arkema executives. Prosecutors say the chemical plant released toxic chemicals and put emergency crews in danger after the plant was inundated by floodwaters from Hurricane Harvey. The CEO and plant manager are facing criminal charges along with the company. Jurors will decide whether the company was criminally reckless.
An update on the status of a meeting happening today in the 5th Ward concerning a cancer cluster. State Senator Boris Miles, Mayor Sylvester Turner, and representatives from the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality and Texas Department of State Health Services will be at this meeting. They'll discuss recent developments on the creosote soil contamination and cancer cluster that is happening at 1 p.m.
2 people hurt in a shooting at a strip club in Beaumont. Police were called to Temptations Cabaret after reports of a man with a gun. That's when they say shots were fired and the suspect was shot. He was taken to a nearby hospital for treatment. One patron inside was also wounded. No officers were hurt.
NASA looking for a few good men and women.
Coming up, what they are requiring for their next class of astronauts.
And next, Super Tuesday, just one day away. How the Democratic candidates for president are stacking up right now.
You're watching Channel 2, Houston's home for news.
Jury selection is expected to begin today in a murder trial where a Fitbit activity tracker will be a key piece of evidence. 43-year-old Richard Debate is accused of killing his wife Connie at their Connecticut home back in 2015. Debate told investigators it was a masked intruder who shot his wife and tied him up. But data from Connie's Fitbit shows Connie moving around an hour after her husband claimed the intruder killed her. Robert Durst's murder trial is expected to begin today in Los Angeles. Durst is accused of killing his best friend 20 years ago to keep her from talking to investigators about his wife's 1982 disappearance. Durst is also accused of killing his Galveston neighbor, Lewis Black, in 2003. He admitted to it, but claimed self-defense.
The Democratic candidate pool for the White House continues to get smaller. Pete Buttigieg announcing he is ending his campaign. Andrea Mitchell has more on the impact that could have tomorrow on Super Tuesday.
Pete Buttigieg dropping out after failing to make inroads with African-American voters in South Carolina, a signal he cannot build the coalition he would need to win the nomination.
I will no longer seek to be the 2020 Democratic nominee for president, but I will do everything in my power to ensure that we have a new Democratic president come January.
The former South Bend, Indiana mayor acknowledging he made history as the first openly gay presidential candidate.
We sent a message to every kid out there wondering if whatever marks them out as different means they are somehow destined to be less than. To see that someone who once felt that exact same way can become a leading American presidential candidate with his husband at his side.
Buttigieg and the other candidates had spent much of Sunday in Selma, Alabama, commemorating the 55th anniversary this week of the historic march known as Bloody Sunday, with one of the few survivors, Congressman John Lewis, appearing.
We will squat and vote like we never, ever voted before.
Joe Biden, fresh off his big victory in South Carolina, propelled by overwhelming support from black voters, reflecting on the lessons of Selma.
We cannot let our anger, when we gain power, rule us like it has the other party and this president.
In contrast, Mike Bloomberg on the ballots for the first time tomorrow, facing a silent protest from nearly a dozen churchgoers turning their backs on the former New York City mayor, widely criticized for the controversial stop and frisk police program, for which he has since apologized.
Every place I have tried to listen and I have tried to learn.
You are making them very nervous.
Bernie Sanders skipping Alabama to rally supporters in California, the biggest Super Tuesday delegate prize, touting his campaign's $46 million fundraising haul in February.
We have an excellent chance to win some of the largest states in this country.
That was Andrea Mitchell reporting. Former Vice President Joe Biden is bringing his presidential campaign to Houston today. He'll be at Texas Southern University's College of Science at 1 o'clock. The appearance comes after his massive primary win in South Carolina and right before Texans head to the polls for Super Tuesday tomorrow.
Now to the future of space. SpaceX is pushing back the launch of its 22nd Dragon spacecraft on its Falcon 9 rocket. The launch was originally scheduled for today, but has been moved to Friday at 10:50 p.m. When it blasts off to the International Space Station, it will be carrying about 5,600 pounds of cargo, including live mice. Those mice will be studied to get a better understanding on the gravitational biology of mammals.
Are you looking for a career that's out of this world? Literally, NASA is looking for its next class of astronauts. Among the requirements, U.S. citizenship and a master's degree in one of the STEM fields. Candidates must also pass NASA's long-duration spaceflight physical. Applications will be accepted until March 31st.
We have
Good
a
luck.
couple people on our meteorology team that actually fit that criteria.
That's
I wish
amazing.
I could say it's me, but it's not.
Eric Brait?
Yes, and Justin.
And Justin.
Justin, you fulfill that. Yeah, we have two with awesome
I
master
say go
degrees.
for it.
Yeah, well, I just would like to keep them closer to home. But, I mean, that's very cool stuff. You never know where the future will take us,
That's
right?
true.
You know, weather today, nice and quiet, a different story as we go throughout this work week. So we have a pretty big day. The good news is it's coming after the polls close tomorrow, but a few of you might want to grab your umbrella and have it ready for Election Day. And also, you know what tomorrow is? Time to rodeo. It's that time of year. So let's take you outside. I know, I'm so excited. That's a live look from our tower camera. You know, it's not bad, but notice that we don't have a lot of sunshine out there. It's very similar to yesterday, and that's what we're expecting for the remainder of today. Let's take another vantage pointer. We'll talk about those temperatures. 75 degrees here in town, low 70s in Conroe, and 75 degrees currently in Sugar Land. So, I mean, it's already very warm out there, and it's because of that south wind, 10 to 15 miles per hour. It's pulling in all that Gulf moisture, so we'll easily warm up by 5 degrees despite the fact that we don't have a lot of sunshine on our side. We'll top off around 78 degrees to about 80 degrees. Only a 20% chance of a stray shower today. If you get caught by a stray shower after school pickup and afternoon doctor's appointment, it's going to be really light. It's not going to slow you down too much. Look at our Futurecast model. It's very limited, maybe a light spritz on the windshield. As we go into Tuesday, we are going to increase those rain chances, but again, it's all about Wednesday. That's when this huge spin of low pressure is going to be right on top of southeast Texas, and that's going to produce those heavy downpours, the thunder and lightning, and we're even running the risk of seeing some severe weather. So we'll time things out with our Futurecast model. Today, just a stray shower chance. Tomorrow, I'll increase it to about 30%. Best chance of that is going to be in the afternoon. But keep in mind, if you do get caught, it's going to be a light shower. Most of your day is going to be very similar to today, very warm, muggy, and cloudy. That area of low pressure just has to get closer to really erupt those showers and storms, and that's happening during the day on Wednesday. Wednesday morning for the commute, you might see a few showers, but it looks like the bulk of it is moving in for the second half of Wednesday. As we go into Thursday and Friday, it moves out of here. So again, it's really 24 hours that we have to be weather aware, but make sure that you're checking the road conditions, because some of our thunderstorms, they can produce those heavy downpours and localized street flooding. We just can't rule it out of the mix. And we could also see a few of our thunderstorms producing hail and gusty winds. It's a big day that you want to look out for. In terms of rainfall totals, most of us about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rain, but again, an isolated thunderstorm can quickly drop 2 inches of rain in about 15 minutes here in Houston, and that's what causes the issues. So make sure that you're on top of it. The good news is after Wednesday, we clear out the skies, sunny skies, cooler temperatures. Oh, wow, it's going to be so gorgeous as we head into our big weekend. We have rodeo happening. We also have Roughnecks in town, and it's the first weekend of spring break for a lot of students out there. So get ready to enjoy it. Just don't forget to spring forward. That happens.
Great time of year around here, isn't it?
I love it. Exactly. Enjoy.
Britta, thanks so much.
Well, the coronavirus causing a change for passengers flying American Airlines. Coming up, what they can now do.
A cancer.
In consumer news, American Airlines is waiving change fees on all newly purchased tickets. That's because of a drop in travel demand due to the coronavirus outbreak. American will waive fees up to 14 days before travel for customers who bought tickets between Sunday and March 16th. The CEO of United has told employees the airline will likely need to cut more flights in the wake of declined sales. United has already cut flights to Asia and suspended service to mainland China and Hong Kong through April 30th.
Walmart and Verizon are in talks with equipped stores with 5G service, starting with a pair of stores this year. The Wall Street Journal reports this would help Walmart launch digital health services such as video chats with doctors and real-time medical data. It could also share your information with the clinic to auto-register when you arrive at the store and tell employees to restock any products that you pick up. It would also provide faster wireless connections for the rest of the store. Well, today, women still handle more household activities than men, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Listen to this. On an average day, 84% of women spend time doing household activities compared to 69% of men.
But now, as consumer expert Amy Davis tells us, there are new high-tech ways to even the playing field when it comes to couples and chores.
Cooking, cleaning, laundry, carpool pickup, doctor's appointments, and more. The list of chores is long in most households, and in a marriage, it's not uncommon for one person to take on more than the other.
I think mine is kind of equal.
Yeah.
I'll say 50-50. We'll go 40-60 if anything.
Okay. Now, many couples are turning to apps to organize, track, and divvy up their domestic tasks. Asana is a project management app that lets couples assign certain tasks to each other, along with deadlines for completing them. Labor of Love allows users to designate values to duties and choose rewards once a certain number of points have been accumulated. Microsoft To Do lets you plan your daily to-do list and share it with your spouse and other family members. And Google Calendar lets you create color-coded calendars and share them with the entire family.
There is some encouraging news regarding gender roles. From 2003 to 2018, the share of men doing food preparation and cleanup chores on an average day increased from 35% to 46%. I'm consumer expert Amy Davis, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Crash photos of the deadly helicopter crash involving NBA legend Kobe Bryant have been leaked.
What Kobe's grieving wife is now saying and who she is blaming for the breach.
Now here's Channel 2's Haley Hernandez with a story you'll see all new tonight at 10.
A toxic, cancer-causing chemical in the city's tap water.
It's in way more of our water supplies than I think any of us have imagined.
Now KPRC Channel 2 Investigates has the brand new test results.
Everybody's got to drink water. So they start to freak out.
The changes we could finally see after our years of relentless reporting into the safety of our drinking water. Tonight at 10.
Ashley HOMESTORE. Live from KPRC, this is Channel 2 News Midday.
Welcome back. Andy and Sophia here with you on this midday. Here's a look at some of the morning's other big stories. Police are still searching for the people who led them on a wild police chase through a local cemetery.
Investigators say they ended up killing the man who they stole the truck from. Police say 3 people stole the truck last night. The owner tried to stop them, but they ran him over, killing him. The chase came to an end along Market and Lockwood in East Houston. If you have any information, call police.
Houston police are asking for your help to find a man they say choked his girlfriend. 32-year-old Jeffrey Rojas is wanted for felony assault, family violence, and injury to a child. Investigators say he grabbed his girlfriend by the throat after an argument back in December. He also has an open warrant from another assault from back in 2017. If you see Rojas, call police.
New developments in the status of the coronavirus this morning. New cases have now been confirmed in 2 states on the East Coast, and 1 more person is dead. Tracy Potts has the latest on the government's efforts to keep this virus from spreading.
Washington State announced overnight that 1 more victim with coronavirus has died, a man in his 70s with underlying health problems. The first U.S. victim, a man in his 50s, also from Washington State. Officials believe he caught the virus through community contact. More than 70 people in the U.S. have now been diagnosed, including the first cases in New York and Rhode Island. Both traveled to affected countries.
The risk here in Rhode Island at this point is low, and we have been preparing for this for weeks.
Vice President Pence tells Meet the Press the CDC is helping local authorities figure out who else may have been exposed.
For the average American, the risk does remain low. We're ready.
The Trump administration says 150,000 test kits will be available in the next 2 weeks, but they're concerned about a shortage of face masks for healthcare workers who need them.
People running out and buying face masks. That's not needed. That's not indicated. We don't recommend it.
President Trump tweets that travelers from high-risk countries will now also be screened when they arrive in the U.S. Democrats are pushing back on the president, calling fears about coronavirus a hoax.
This idea, first, that it was a hoax, or that it was minimal, or that people shouldn't talk about it, is all wrong. That's what happened in China. They tried to push it under the rug.
The administration plans an update this afternoon. The government does have the authority to make these drug companies put what they're doing on the back burner and prioritize this vaccine. We'll see what happens when the president meets with them today. Tracy Potts, NBC News, Washington.
Another science conference canceled over coronavirus concerns. The American Physical Society was scheduled to hold the world's biggest physics conference in Denver this week. The international conference was expected to host some 10,000 people from all around the world. Organization officials say they made the decision to cancel the conference due to rapidly escalating health concerns relating to spread of the coronavirus. Well, coming up in this newscast, we are answering some of the most asked questions and concerns about the coronavirus. One of the country's top infectious doctors has advice that you need to know. That is still ahead at 11:50.
Warm and humid this Monday.
Yeah, a little bit cloudy, but it's going to get better, Justin.
Well, it's going to get better, but it's going to get a little sloppy before it gets better.
Okay.
So we got to get through that first, then we'll get back to this, and it'll look a little better than that. So still not a bad day, though. 71 as you get down to the island. Dew points are on the rise. That south-southeast wind kicking in, and as Berta mentioned just a few minutes ago, that's why we're seeing these temperatures that are all running at least 5, some 6 degrees warmer than where we should be this time of year, which is right about 70 degrees or so. So it is going to be a bit of a muggy afternoon. It's going to be a little steamy out there, and certainly a little breezy as well. See the winds anywhere from around 10 to 12, 15 miles an hour as you get down towards Wharton. We'll see wind gusts a little higher than that, 15 to 20, especially by tomorrow as the front gets closer to us. Right now, a few light showers as you get north of Lake Livingston, and that's about it. So I don't think we'll see the same kind of coverage that we saw yesterday. However, what we're going to be watching for is this little fella right here. This is our area of low pressure swirling around. This is the one that's going to track, and you can almost see where it's going to go. I mean, it's just following along this little Pacific jet, so that rides its way into Texas, and that is what is going to make for a bit of a sloppy go as we get in towards the middle of our work week. So pickup line forecast looks good this afternoon. Just maybe a slight chance for a shower. That's about it. For the rest of the day, we'll see those temperatures hover in the upper 70s and then slowly back off into the 60s where they will park it for the rest of the night. I'll time out that storm system. We'll talk different scenarios about how that may bring more or less rain. And of course, what about your rodeo forecast as well? We'll get into that here in just a bit.
Sounds good, Justin. Thanks so much. Remember, you can track your forecast anytime you want. All you have to do is download Frank's free forecast weather app. Just search KPRC in your Apple or Android app store.
New developments in the Kobe Bryant crash story. The Los Angeles County Sheriff says the department is now investigating some of its own deputies. They are accused of taking graphic photos of the crash scene and sharing them with other officers. Morgan Rafford has more.
My baby girl.
Vanessa Bryant is absolutely devastated by allegations that sheriff's deputies shared photos from the helicopter crash site, according to a statement from her attorneys. Calling the actions inexcusable and deplorable. Bryant's attorneys wrote, "We are demanding that those responsible for these alleged actions face the harshest possible discipline."
I was just horrified. At the time of the crash, I spoke with all three families that were there present at Lost Hill Station, and I witnessed firsthand the pain they went through.
LA County Sheriff Alex Villanueva says first responders worked hard to secure the accident scene from paparazzi and from the public.
To be betrayed by one of our own is disheartening, really.
The Sheriff's Department says 8 deputies have been identified for investigation, and the offending images have been deleted from their phones. So far, those photos have not turned up on the internet. Over the years, law enforcement agencies in LA have struggled with the unauthorized use of evidence involving celebrities, such as Mel Gibson's infamous drunk driving arrest, and the leaked photo of Rihanna after she was beaten by Chris Brown, which led to the firing of an LAPD officer.
Babe, you take care of our Gigi. And I got Nani, Bibi, and Coco. We're still the best team.
A week after Kobe and Gianna's memorial, with the city still in mourning, the sheriff says he's committed to protecting the dignity of victims' families.
We're redoing the entire policies, and we're creating new ones that are very specific, including a penalty of discharge for a violation of these policies.
In her statement, Vanessa Bryant thanked the individual who filed the complaint for what she called the choice to protect human dignity. The Sheriff's Department says the deputies who took the photos and shared them were, quote, contrite and apologetic. The investigation into this incident is ongoing.
Former General Electric Chairman and CEO Jack Welch has died. The 84-year-old passed away late Sunday of renal failure. Welch led GE for 2 decades. During that time, he grew the company's market value from $12 billion to $140 billion. While at the helm, Welch expanded the industrial giant into financial services and consulting. He founded GE Capital Bank and bought the NBC television network. Welch is survived by his wife and 3 adult children. A big gesture by an actress may have landed her the role of a lifetime.
Coming up, what she did to get the attention of Tyler Perry and the role she now has.
But first, here's a live look at Wall Street as we head into break.
In this morning's entertainment news, taking the polar plunge, more than 4,000 people dove into Chicago's frigid Lake Michigan to raise money for Special Olympics. 2 were familiar faces. There's from NBC Today, that was Al Roker and Craig Melvin you just saw rushing out. The water temperature, about 20 degrees.
You know how sometimes people will say before something, they'll be like, oh, it's not going to be as bad as you think? This isn't one of those times. That's cool. That's cool.
Tell me exactly how it felt besides it being cold.
1,000 needles all at once. It's great.
Right?
It's we're alive. We're alive. Woo!
It felt great, apparently. Okay, well, the event benefits more than 7,500 Special Olympic athletes in Chicago. Organizers said the event raised more than $2 million. Wow.
Looks like great fun, Sophia. We should try it sometime. Rap superstar Drake released new music over the weekend. He released 2 new songs, When to Say When and Chicago Freestyle. Rather than release a music video for each song, Drake merged both tracks into one. In When to Say When, Drake talks about the mother of his son Adonis and mentions his many Billboard records and wins that he brought to Toronto. The video then fuses into Chicago freestyle. In it, he talks about lessons he's learned and mistakes he's made in previous relationships with women he can no longer reach.
One of the most recognizable faces from the group Public Enemy is finding himself out of a job this morning. No one is safe from politics, apparently, not even longtime rap icon Flavor Flav. He's been sacked from Public Enemy following a political flap with Bernie Sanders. Rolling Stone first reported the news following Flav sending Bernie Sanders a cease and desist letter to not use his likeness. Public Enemy's creator, Chuck D, says he is backing Bernie Sanders, and the group still showed up at the rally.
The actress who put up billboards to get Tyler Perry's attention is featured in the next episode of his show, Sisters. Actress Raquel Bailey took a giant leap of faith when she paid for the billboards strategically placed near Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta over the summer. A couple of weeks later, she was auditioning for upcoming roles on Perry's projects and even landed a part on Sisters. She says the idea for the billboards came from her children and that she would do it all over again.
Yeah, what happened? What happened? What?
I saw some things. It was right there. It was right there. There were footprints. I saw it.
The Invisible Man sees its way to the #1 spot at the weekend box office. The thriller from Universal and Blumhouse opened with $29 million. Invisible Man is a reboot of the classic H.G. Wells novel of the same name. The film stars Elizabeth Moss as a woman convinced she is being stalked by her ex-boyfriend, who has found a way to become invisible.
Your flying eggs are pretty impressive, Mr. Eggman, but let's face it, you'll never catch me.
Confidence. Sonic the Hedgehog slid to second place this weekend, the Sega video game adaptation earning $16 million in its third weekend, bringing its domestic total to a solid $128 million. The Call of the Wild moving down to third place, earning $13.2 million in its second week. The dog adventure movie is adapted from the Jack London novel of the same name and stars Harrison Ford.
Well, chances are there's some hidden treasure tucked away somewhere in your home or your wallet, hidden only because you just forgotten about it. NBC's Chris Clackham has the details.
They've become the go-to gift for any occasion, most recently Christmas, but they're the gift most likely to be forgotten.
Collectively, Americans have about $21 billion worth of unused gift cards and other store credits.
A recent Bankrate survey found half of us have lying around gift cards, vouchers, or store credits worth, on average, $167. More if you're a millennial.
Close to $250 worth for each millennial in this study.
Bankrate's Ted Rossman says across the board, these unused bits of treasure are a serious issue.
This is real money. People need to take advantage of this. My #1 tip is take inventory of what you have. Put those old gift cards to use.
Use either for yourself or use for regifting. Just don't hang on to them.
Inflation could erode some of that buying power. If a store goes out of business, the gift card could be worthless.
Another reason why the best time to use even the best gift cards is now. Chris Clackham, NBC News.
Yeah, we were all just talking. We've got unused gift cards here and there, right?
So many.
$10 here,
Everywhere.
$15 there.
I was just thinking, I was like, ooh, I got 2 in the car right now. I should probably go find those.
Use them.
Or like Christmas all over again when you discover
I know,
it.
that's the best. It's the best feeling. You know, like before you have kids, when you find $20 and then now
And
you're
you
like,
can keep
I don't have any money. Children take all my money, so.
Yep.
Anyway, we got a little bit of cloud cover out there today,
Yeah.
guys. It's not too bad today, but it is going to be a little stiff. Stuffy is probably the best way that we're going to say the next couple of days. Pretty steady south wind, too, is going to keep not only the threat for a lot of cloud cover around, but also some of that fog starting to develop. Wasn't too bad this morning, but I do think it's going to be a little more widespread tomorrow, so just keep that in mind. You can kind of get the idea as you're looking at the camera as we headed towards West Loop here. We've got temperatures for the most part all kind of sitting in the mid-70s. Touch cooler in that as you get down to Galveston. Actually, a pretty good-looking day, although notice with the winds coming right off of the surf is a little angry, so it is going to be a bit of a rough day out on the island there as well. 71 degrees, south-southeast wind at around 13 miles an hour. 75 out towards Brenham. Katy and Sugar Land both checking in at that as well. 73 in Tomball, and same thing up towards Conroe. So very mild day today. That will continue. We'll keep things fairly breezy. You can see the winds anywhere from around 12, 15, close to 20 miles an hour. Some wind gusts may get slightly higher than that. But here's what we're really watching. This is this area of low pressure bringing in some snow to the Baja and some heavy rain potential as well. And it's going to kind of ride along this little Pacific jet. It's sort of a little highway that it'll move its way across northern Mexico and eventually in towards West Texas. So it's going to track things out because tomorrow, most of our rain chances are going to be very slight. We've got another front that actually will stall out right across here, turn into a bit of a boundary. That's what Britta was showing you a second ago. So notice by Tuesday and into Wednesday, that low gets closer to us. And as it does, it kind of interacts with that boundary and serves as a little bit of an extra lifting point, meaning that you can squeeze out more showers and a little more thunderstorm activity as well. And so the question is where does that track? There's a possibility it could continue to keep tracking a little further north, which means the heavy rain potential would be a little further away from us, the Brazos Valley, for example, then just south of Dallas. But if it takes a bit more of a southerly track, and this is why we're going to have to just watch it over the next 24 hours, you take some of this heavy rain potential and push it a little further south, a la in our backyard. So that's why we're just going to kind of have to watch to see how this develops. By the time we get into Thursday, that's gone, and we've got a much better looking forecast. So how much rain does that translate to as of what we know now? Well, for the most part, north of I-10, we're talking about maybe 1 to 2 inches, a little less as you get to the coast. Notice the brighter colors are closer to 3, maybe 4 inches in between here and Dallas. But as I said, if it takes that a little further jog to the south, some of these higher amounts get a little closer to us. Now, we are in decent need of some rain. A lot of the counties, especially south and west, are starting to crop up on the drought monitor with some of the higher potential for some problems. But we just don't need it all at once. That's always our problem here across southeast Texas. We just get too much at one time. So kind of keep a watch on that. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little sloppy for both not only primary day, but of course for the rodeo getting its act together. And then as we head in towards the rest of the forecast, looks okay so far. We'll continue to keep a watch on that as well. But notice that as the sloppy weather gets through, guys, we'll be looking much better as we get in towards our Thursday and Friday forecast.
Okay. Yeah. Justin, thanks so much.
Thanks, Justin.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We have a lot of questions about this coronavirus with conversations taking place at homes and offices around the country. So we're getting answers from one of the most prominent infectious disease specialists, Dr. William Schaffner from Vanderbilt University.
What's the best way to prevent the virus?
What is the risk for somebody like us to contract this?
How can I avoid it? Avoid people who are coughing and sneezing at the present time. Lots of good hand washing. The people at greatest risk of coronavirus infection are people who are older.
Flu-like symptoms?
Well, it's certainly flu-like symptoms, and the whole spectrum of illness from very severe to much less severe, we're now only appreciating. Older persons, people with underlying illnesses such as heart disease, diabetes, and lung disease, they're more likely to get pneumonia and the more serious coronavirus infections.
Is it airborne?
It can be transmitted through close contact. If I have the virus and I breathe it out, and we're standing this close and you breathe it in, you can get sick.
Do you get the mask that you wear?
That's a very good question. You know, the masks really don't help you very much at all.
What percentage of people now are dying from the coronavirus?
The data from China would indicate it's about 2% of people, but most of us think that's too high. The coronavirus probably can survive on the surface for several hours. The good news is that common household disinfectants will kill the virus.
I'll be flying soon, so I was wondering like what precautions or is there any concern?
So actually, I think the risk is going to be very low, but every time you travel, wash your hands a lot and avoid those people who are coughing and sneezing. At the present time, I think it's very prudent for the family to think ahead. What if the coronavirus should come and we would be asked to sort of quarantine ourselves at home? Think about what you would do. Who would take care of the children because they may be home from school? Make sure you have enough medicine for people who take medicine at home that might last for 2 or 3 weeks.
Can healthy people fight it off on their own?
If you get sick, we can take care of you. We don't have a direct antiviral drug, but we'll give you good supportive care, and fortunately, most people recover.